Alright guys, I want to show you another trick here. Because Meta's getting down there now where it's like really getting appetizing. You don't want to be, like we're waiting for 600, like hoping it comes, but you don't know, right? So like, yeah, it's getting down there where it's like worth biting. So I just want to show you what I'm seeing. First of all, their earnings was not as bad. This is overdone at this point, in my opinion, as a one-time expense, but so we're oversold pretty significantly here. Um, we have pretty significant support around the 600 level, as you can see here by the visual volume range profiles. 600 is like the lowest, 590, 600, that's where, there you go, 591 is big bar support. So that's like your bottom, right? Seems like a long ways off, but it's really not. It's like 5% or something. So, that was really quick, brainless math, but somewhere around there. Point being, we're getting down where it's like worth buying here, and shares is the easy way, but I'm going to show you guys a trick here in a second with options. But I'm not saying to do this tomorrow, but I'm saying pretty soon. You got this huge gap now above, from like all the way from 742 down to 682, and we know that gaps fill 90% of the time, right? So keep this in your playbook and ready to go, because even if we don't recover and go to all-time highs again, I would expect that we're going to get a bounce to fill this gap at some point in the future. Could be a long time from now, don't know, but this is what I want to show you. So this is a strategy called the poor man's covered call, but you can do it with leaps. So check this out. You can go trade options, right? I'm not saying to do this now. I'm just showing you what you can do when you're ready to do it. So you can go out to, let's say, I don't know, let's just go like a year out. So it's November 3rd. All right, so December is the best we can do here. So buy a call. So these are really expensive, obviously, right? But I'll show you how I can get them cheaper. So let's say you're like 670 call. So that's going to cost you $10,450, right? Except you can go to sell, and you could go to, let's say, the end of December. So sell calls, right? And then we chose the 670, so we want to go above that. So let's say, I mean, it's really up to you how you do this, but we'll just choose the 700 because it's above. So no, we don't want to do that. Let's see here, just exploring. Yeah, go farther out, maybe 740. Didn't show that one. Show me my graph. Okay, whatever. So, yeah. All right, so, I'm sorry, I'm just looking at this. Okay, so this right here is just like selling covered calls on shares, except you're doing it against a leap, right? So you get paid $1,180 in premium here. And if the price of Meta was to go north of $705 by December, which is very possible, so maybe don't do this. I'd probably go like higher up the chain here. I'd probably go like, at least here. There you go. That looks better. All right, yeah, this is what I was trying to show you guys. I don't know why I wasn't drawn before. So right here, you can see that, remember, it was going to cost us $10,000, right? But you see how the max loss is only $3,000 here? And your max profit's $7,000? It's because while you have the call, the leap option that you bought, remember, we bought a leap for December, the 670. See, we still have that selected. You can sell calls against it, just like you would sell covered calls on shares, right? In the same way, because when you have a leap option, you're technically controlling 100 shares of a position. So you'll actually see here that if we were to continue, the cost of this trade is only $9,640 now because we got a credit for selling that call, and you can see the max loss by expiration is only $2,918. Now, what would happen is as long as the price stayed underneath our 750 strike of the call we're selling, we would keep the premium from that, which is like $500 something, right? And no matter where Meta goes here, we are going to, like you can see, like, okay, so if we, I'll show you in a second, if we weren't selling the call, so you see how our max loss, well, if we went to zero, it would be 9,000, but your max loss at expiration is $2,918, right? But if we actually remove this call that we're selling, so this guy, now our max loss becomes $10,450, right? So we're covering our position by selling calls against it. And what's cool is because this is a leap, right? So this is 1 month, a little over a month away. So this option expires. Ideally, Meta is under 750 when it expires, but up from where we are now. You'll keep the premium on the 750 call, and you'll still have the leap contract. So then, when this expires, you just open another covered call against it and do the same thing again and again and again. And what's cool about that is, okay, at a price of $590, right? If you sold 10 of these, right? Because we went a year out. So in 10 months, if you were collecting $500 to $600 of premium every month for 10 months on that leap position, even if the call went completely against you and expired worthless, you would basically get out of the trade at break even. Like, you would lose no money because you would collect premium against that position the entire time, essentially making the trade free. But if at any point your call gets up, right, you can wait for your covered call to expire, keep that premium, and then close the leap position for a gain. So pretty cool little technique here. And it's called the poor man's covered call. But if you want to do this the right way, like what I would do is I would look, before I even bought a call. So let's reset this. Buy call. Let's go to December. Let's get rid of this guy. Okay, so you go to sell call. You go 1 month out. So December, right? And we look for, see. Because if you wanted to do this for a year, we might have got lucky and just picked the perfect one, but let's say, I don't even know. Basically, you want to times the premium by 12, and that's what you'd want to buy for a leap, is what I'm getting at here. So if you chose the 730, that's 765, right? So 765 times 12 times 10 is $7,650. So times 2 more is 8,000, about $9,000, right? So you would go out and you'd find a call by December, and you go out and find a call that cost about $9,000, which is the 705, right? So that's how you basically pick them. And this trade is poop. Why? Did I mess that up? Sorry, my daughter is screaming in the background. It's distracting. So, whoa, how'd we end up way up here? Why is it not showing? Why is it doing this to me again? You don't want that scenario. Stupid thing. I don't know why it's not showing my chart here. There you go. I mean, so here, you're collecting $450 in premium. The call costs you $9,000. So you're basically getting a discount of $500 on this option. And if it was to go against you, it's fine because you still have the leap, right? And you keep the $450 and then you just sell another call, right? And you can keep doing that for a year until you determine that it's the right time to sell your position or close your position. So anyways, this is a poor man's covered call strategy, what they call it. So in this particular situation, this makes a lot of sense to me. The 705 call is $9,000. It's a pretty large position. I get it, but this applies with anything. So I was just showing meta because it's set up well for something like this right now. But you could do this on, anything. So let's go back to our good old friend JD, right? Because these will be a lot cheaper. Same thing. So trade options. Go a month out. Sell calls. We want to get out of it at like $40 if you're in this, right? So you sell the 59 or the 40 call for $59, and you buy, a call. Let's say we don't want to do this as long. Let's say March. That's what we want to do. So December, January, February, March, that's 4 months. Well, November, December, 5 months, okay? So 5 times $59 is $250. So we want to find a call that's about $250 here, give or take, right? So the 38 call, there you go. See, so it applies with anything, but so your max loss is $133 and your max profit's $321, giving you a built-in 3-to-1 risk to reward with a predetermined amount of risk right up front, where you don't have to worry about the theta working against you. Your covered call, if this leap was to go up, if JD was to go up, your covered call will lose. It will go up in value, so you will lose money because you're selling the option, but the leap will go up in value, which is going to give you even more money than the covered call is going to lose. But as long as the price was to stay under $40 in this scenario, you would still keep all of the premium from that option. Basically, you just let the position ride until the covered call expires and then decide if you want to sell another one or if you want to close the leap for a gain. And you can just keep doing this for a long period of time. So this is a really good way to farm premiums on a long-term hold without having to buy 100 shares. So thought I would show you that. You can only do this with a margin account, of course, but this is the equivalent of running the wheel, basically, like selling covered calls on a long hold Like I taught you guys about the wheel a lot of times. You can do the same thing with leaps contracts, and yeah, it's pretty cool. So I thought I'd share that with you guys. So if you have any questions, I know the option strategies can be a bit confusing, but it's a really cool way to take a position in something, control a larger position than you actually have the money for, and do it safely and farm income off of that position at the same time. So yeah, anyways, another trick for the night. All right, see you guys later.